Hey guys, Ash from Magic Goddess here. I'm back today with another deck profile. I've been recording these on and off, so I'm not sure when this one's getting posted, but or how close it is getting posted to the other. So today I'm going to be doing my Nightrose deck profile. Uh, I think this is probably, to me anyway, the most fun deck right now to play. Mainly because when I play card games, I usually play control or just things that give me a lot of options. But I don't like side decking because I feel like, oh, okay, well, you just add whatever to whatever. So it's one of the appeals of Cardfight to me is that I really like a lot of the time the best out of one system that they have in major tournaments. But there are a lot of inherent flaws with that, and that's a discussion for another time. And of course, luck plays a lot into it too, and that is frustrating me as well. So today I'm going to be doing my Buddy Fight deck box that it's in. My Nightrose deck profile. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck, this build, and I've been tweaking it a lot. And I think it's at a point where I don't think I'll tweak it much anymore. So I think it's ready to show, and it performs very well. So starting off, my starter is Grenache. I think any Nightrose build is probably going to run him because he basically lets you. He's a free counter charge too, essentially, and he's too good not to run. Uh, Okay, so of course, I'll go over some combos with him later. I run four heals. That's the draw. So four heals, standard stuff there. And with the new G Guardians going in soon, you're gonna want to run four heals. Then I run three draws. I don't know if Granblue has a Margot clone yet, but I just put in three draws, so it can be any three draws you want. Two Stan, Mick the Ghostian family. He's actually pretty useful, and I'm actually really liking this trigger lineup in general in most builds. Just because Bushy Road wants people to use more stands, it seems, so they keep adding stands with really good effects. But he's a GB1 when you place on rear from drop. If it's hollowed, so you can choose to hollow him. Uh, Choose up to one of your other units, and the other unit gets plus 10k. And then, to end the turn, uh, this unit gets, when this is put in the drop zone from rear, return this card to your deck, shuffle your deck. So you can actually call over this or whatever too, if you want to just minus yourself like that. Well, it really doesn't really truly minus, but it gets back into the deck for you, which is nice. But you don't want too many of them. Then I run 7 crit. Uh, two of the exact same crits. The Banshee, put in Soul. Granblue card. If you have a Granblue Vanguard, draw a card. This is the new art from the trial deck, and this is the old one. I'm just running 2 of each, just because. A variety, and then this is 3 random crits. So, there you go. And that's the lineup for the grade 1, or zeros. So moving on to the grade 1s. Of course, we run 4 of the Perfect Shield. This is Water Spout Gin. I would have liked it to be Tornado Gin, but whatever. Um, he's a perfect guard G. Essentially, can only guard the Vanguard. Let you unflip a damage. It's pretty useful since you do use a lot of counterblasts. Well, you don't need him to unflip anyway because you have a good engine that lets you unflip stuff. But his use is that you might as well get an extra effect since you're not really going to be perfect guarding any rear guards. So you might as well get a perfect shield to get you something extra. Time of the Ghosty Brothers, Stride Fodder, lets you get Nightrose, which you really pretty much need to ride in this deck. So lets you ditch for it, and probably be your primary Vanguard booster, and I'll get into that later. 2 of the Negrobone. He's a GB1 kind of plus 1 at the end of the battle. This unit boosts the rear guard. If you have a Vanguard with Nightrose in the name, again, why you need to ride Nightrose. You may pay the cost if you do retire the unit that was boosted during the battle. Choose up to 1 card with the hollow ability from your drop zone and call it to rear. So you can essentially call another attacker, which is really nice. Sea Rumble Banshee, this is the promo. She is a hollow, drop zone, GB1, counterblast 1. Choose a rear guard, retire it, call this card to rear. And when this is placed on rear due to effect of itself, if it's hollowed, gets an extra 2k, and when it's put in the drop zone due to a hollow, you can counter charge 1. Another counter charge thing, but mainly it's here because it's a hollow, grade 1. And I'll tell you later more about that. And then Sea Strolling Banshee, it's Ardindran, basically. Soul Blast 1. When this card is placed on rear from drop, if you have a Granblue Vanguard, pay the cost, draw a card. So, it's pretty good. 6k though. Moving to the grade 2s. I run 4 Negro Rook. He is bread and butter attacker. Basically, you hollow him, and he becomes a 16k attacker, which is really good, with no booster. So it's pretty much your bread and butter. You're always going to want one in drop zone if you don't get it, but since you have run 4, more than likely you're going to get it. So I guess that works there. 2 Negro Lazy. He's really good too. Hollow. Counter Blast 1. Soul Blast 1. When it's placed in the rear, if you have a Vanguard with Nightrose in his card name, pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 grade 2 or less, not named himself, from your drop zone, call it to rear, and then the turn this gets +2, and turn this unit is +2, and when this, and an ability auto when this unit is put into a drop zone due to effect from hollow, soul charge 1, counter charge 1. So pretty decent. You don't want to clog too much with him though. You could probably run him at 3 if you really need to, but I find the 2 I'm perfectly fine with. 2 Columbard. He's our GB1 Counter Blast 1 when it attacks a Vanguard if it's boosted. Call a card from drop zone to rear. So it's really nice for that. It gets you another attacker essentially. You can make some pretty silly combos with this deck. You can't boost an attack with him and then call over him during the attack, though. However, this card right here is after an attack. So then 2 Skeleton Cannoneers. Hollow again. GB1 Counter Blast 1. When this is placed on rear from your drop zone, pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 of your opponent's rear guards, retire it. And then if it's hollow, draw a card. There's no reason not to hollow it. So basically, it's a free draw. And let you kill something. So they have pesky Vanguard, grade 0, something to take care of it. And like I said, there's a lot of options in this deck. Then I run 1 Cemetery Dragon. He's an 8k, which is kind of but he is a GB1 15k interceptor. So really nice for protecting you. He's a one-of because I don't want to ride him, and most of the time I don't want him. I want him in the graveyard or drop zone so that I can just call him when I need him. But it's kind of a tech there, just for a situation where you might need the extra guard. Onto grade 3s, I run 2 Gas Dragons. So he's basically a hollow GB1, put 2 cards on top of your deck in the drop zone. When it attacks a Vanguard, pay that cost, gets a +3, so he becomes 14k. And then if it's hollowed, he becomes 19k attacker. And then with a 7k booster, it's 26 pretty easily. And then he has a drop zone ability to Counter Blast 1, kill grade 2 or greater, and call him to that spot. He's okay. Only running 2 because you don't really want to ride him ever. But he is a hollow, and he does swing for really high numbers. So then I run 2 Night Storm. He's a hollow again. Really interesting ability to GB1 Counter Blast 1 at the end of the battle. This unit attacks the Vanguard. If it's hollow, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 card not named himself. Call it to a rear that this is not on. So again, calls it to a different circle for attacks and stuff. Then he has an ability to Counter Blast 1. Soul Blast 1. If you ride him, look at the top 5 for a hollow, reveal, and then put it into your hand. So hopefully he gets you more cards. A lot of times I don't hit a hollow with him though, so there are times I've considered switching the composition of the deck somewhat to get hollow, but you have a lot of hollow cards though. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 different hollow types. So you got a good chance. It'd be interesting if the Jin was a hollow as well, but it's not. Then I run 4 Nightrose grade 3s, of course. She is a once per turn GB2. Put 3 cards on the top of your deck in the drop zone. When your rear guard is put in the drop zone, you pay the cost. If you do, call that card to rear. and then that's a really good effect, which we'll go into. Then there's a counterblast one when you stride, pay the cost, choose a card from drop zone, call it to rear, and it gets +2 and 10 a turn. Pretty much a +1 for a counterblast one, essentially. Run out of space here. So moving some of this stuff down here. So, going into strides, first off, I run Obadiah. He's going to be the stride that you want to stride first 90% of the time, probably. He is when you stride him, search for 3, put them into drop zone, shuffle your deck, and if 2 of them are hollow, choose up to a normal ghosty from drop zone, call it to rear. So what you would do, ideally your combo is you're going to use stride fodder here. Use this guy. Use this guy to stride. Put whatever 3 cards you need. Maybe Negro Lazy. Usually him. Maybe him if you don't have it. And then whatever else you want. Probably this a lot of the time for me. Or one of these. Both of those or something. Generally stuff that you want in the drop zone. You're going to put in the drop zone. And then you can call this back. And if you didn't stride with this. You strode with a grade 3. You're going to want to search for this. That way you get a free booster out of it. And this calls over your Grenache, so that you don't have to kill it yourself. So it gives you an ability like that. So it's really good for that. Lets you put stuff in your drop zone that you need, essentially. Then I run 2 Bandit Rums. She's when this hits a Vanguard, choose up to 1 card from drop zone, call it to rear, kills +2. I did run Blue Mist, but I found that I almost never used them. So a lot of the time, whenever I needed something that wasn't Ghosty or Nightrose, I needed something to give pressure, and this thing, you're threatening them with another attack. Or if you're counterblast, you're threatening them with calling Negro Lazy or something, and then calling another thing with that. So you're chaining extra attacks, which could be terrible for them. Negro Lazy into a Negro Bone into a Night whatever, and so on. You can chain a lot as long as you're counterblast. So it does limit you with the counterblast, but that's fair. So more pressure, that's why I run 2. Then I run 4 Nightrose. So let me see. It's really hard to read the SP text here. GB2, counterblast 2, choose a card herself face down from G zone, turn it face up. When this attacks a Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 cards from your drop zone, call them to separate rear in different rows. So remember, there's 2 rows, front row and the back row. So you basically call an entire column. Sadly, you can't call 2 things in the front row to attack, no matter what anyone says. So pretty much a really big defining engine of this deck. I don't know why a lot of people don't like her or don't run her at 4 in a Nightrose deck. But she gives you a lot of things that you can do. So now that we got over the main build, let's kind of look at some combo, I guess, that you can do, if I can remember. So let's say, of course, I'm on Nightrose. And I most likely I have a Ghosty out in the field, right? So all this stuff. Okay. So let's say I have counterblast open. Let's say I have 5. Let's just gonna say I have 5. Okay, so I'm just gonna assume I have access to anything. I will stride over her. Call him with her ability. His ability goes off. So blast. Use his ability to call this. Swing. Whatever. This is hollowed, of course. So swing. Then His ability goes off. Call. Well, at this point, you're probably just going to call the other thing, this thing. 16k, her ability, her attack, counterblast 2, call whatever. If you want it to be silly, you can do whatever, but you're probably going to call at this point Grenache and maybe another one of these. Gosh, my cards are nowhere. But it depends on if you still have the stands in the deck or not. Because if you have the stands, I probably would have attacked with this. That way, I would not replace this column, but or so this can stand or whatever. Okay, you had a stand. So this can stand, and then you have this column. Of course, it's hollowed. 21, 16. The other one was what was 13, 20. So 20, 16, 33, 21. But essentially, you're going to be abusing Nego Lazy to call stuff. At times, you want to call this if you want. And you almost always call Grenache at the end. So end of the turn, right? So if I was doing this correctly, this attacks, then I call over this naturally with her ability. Hollow. If you get a stand, this can stand then, or whatever, and you can do another attack. End of turn, these 2 die, so this lets you soul charge 1, counter charge 1. This dies since it was hollowed. I flip 2. Use her ability to mill 3 cards. Call him back, and then hollow him immediately. Then, since you're still going through end of turn, he dies again. You can't bring him back with her ability. Well, that's off, but with her ability. And now you have 5 counterblasts again, and you just live through the turn. What's amazing with this build is that, so I pretty much started with a center column, right? And I basically kept my hand while calling on the entire field. But if you have stuff on the field, you can even do more crazy stuff because you don't have to call as much, whatever. But you essentially can call out an entire field, starting with nothing, pretty much. And, you know, I might call him with this. That way, it's going to hit 13, so whatever. If I don't think I can kill him this turn, I'll do something like this. That way, this will die, and I'll unput my damage, but this will stay out. That way, next turn, if I need to intercept with this, that's fine. Or I can just, and when it dies, I can call it back. But yeah, there's a lot of nice shenanigans that you can do, because this thing will call something else, this thing will call something else, this calls another unit, this calls another unit. So basically, you have so many things that call extra stuff that you can get a lot of extra attacks in this build. But yeah, that probably wasn't the cleanest way to do it, but I think that's the only thing I can remember on the top of my head. But it's a really fun build to play. A lot of options, a lot of things that you can do. So, it's been Astro Magic, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.